What's up, issue? For today's video, with a Chein-Pao team. Chein-Pao recently got, I just called it Chein-Pao. I'm leaving that in. Chein-Pao recently got its shiny, and I'm going to do a team of 6 Pokemon. Now, this was quite a difficult team to do in terms of getting movesets for it, because it is a very good Pokemon. So I tried to be quite unique with my movesets, but probably have one good one in the back there in case I come across some really competitive teams, which are always a high chance on the Poke Portal. Let's get into our first random battle here. What do you guys think of Chein-Pao? Do you like it? Do you don't like it? Let me know. I think it's a pretty cool looking Pokemon and design. I don't really like the shiny though. It looks like poo, Chien-Pao. Anyway, so we got a Blastoise lead, which is totally not going to set up, and it's going to go for Rain Dance. I thought, all right, that's pretty good. So we got the PIMPNITE special Chien-Pao here. So this is a bulky set. So I've got Snowscape and Sheer Cold. Look how well it lived to Flash Cannon, by the way. And I've also got Taunt and Recover too. So I think it's funny that Chien-Pao gets Recover. So I was like, I'm definitely going to make a moveset based around it. So Blastoise is going to have a salty swap there, and we have got Goodra coming in. Now, Goodra, unfortunately, is going to take a Sheer Cold to the face, and it is going to get dropped in one move. I don't know why they swapped in Goodra to that, though, because it is it is weak to ice. Next Pokemon's going to be Dragapult. So I thought, well, if it's a special set, I'm cooked. If it's not physical, I'll just go for Recover. Let's see what it's going to do. I want to show them that I've got the remove Recover on Chien-Pao, right? So Dragapult's going to go for a U-turn, and I actually got a little bit of health back from that Recover after the damage. The EV spread on this one is max health and max speed, jolly nature. So Blastoise is going to slide back in here. It's going to go for that Flash Cannon. I'm going to go for Taunt this time, just in case they try and change the weather around again. And here comes a Flash Cannon. Flash Cannon almost takes me out. Very, very close. So I thought, well, such little health left, I guess I could try and go for a Sheer Cold here just before I faint. Now, the opponent is now going to go for a Timmy Terra steal on their Blastoise, and Sheer Cold lands on them. And that drops them in one shot. And I can tell you what, the levels of salt must have been building like inside of them. So I thought, all right, well, at least they didn't rage quit there. They kept battling. So when it comes to Dragapult, and there's the salty cancel. So I hope you enjoyed that first battle. It was Salt Field. I don't know what my opponent's random name was. Let's get on to battle number 2. This is another random battle. This one is against Vinny D Freak. And they've got a Bastardon lead. So Bastardon is a huge, huge counter for my team. I actually only have one Chien-Pao with a fighting move, because I didn't want to make powerful sets, Chien-Pao is a very strong Pokemon. Too strong otherwise for me, right? It'd be too easy. So I had one good set on my team, and the rest were pretty much memes, which I found it fun to use. So Bastardon is going to be a huge problem because it's got body press. So this is going to be annihilate my entire team with body press. So I had to come up with a plan, and I had to execute it. Now, also, I had, I'm assuming I had Sturdy as well, so that was immune to stuff like Sheer Cold. Next up, we got the PIMPNITE special here. This is a Weakness Pulsey Chien-Pao, which actually did fairly well. Bastardon's going to slip out, and Suicune's going to slide in, and it has a Pressure as the ability. I went for Endure to try and get a Weakness Pulsey, but alas, it did not work. Now, this wasn't probably the most favorable matchup because I wanted to get hit by a super effective move. So I swapped it out and went into my next Chien-Pao here. So pretty much, it's going to be a sweeping Hydro Pump Suicune. Does a lot of damage to me, so it's a 2-hit KO. This is actually a max health set, and it's got Iron Ball. Iron Ball, Avalanche, and Payback, Sucker Punch as well on there for a bit of priority. Like I said, I was trying to use all of Chien-Pao's moves, and most of the sets that I made weren't exactly the greatest ones, but they were fun to use. The other move on that one was Psychic Fangs with Terra Psychic. So I'm going to bring in the special Chien-Pao, and we're going to see if we can get this throat spray set going. Another special set. So I've got +1 in special attack, Now, Hydro Pump is at least going to be dropped by that. Unfortunately, Suicune kept landing it, and this one wasn't really a bulky set, so I took a little bit under half health. So I've got Terra Blast, Fairy on this one, and I've got Hyper Beam, and we have the Suicune swapping out at the moment. The next Pokemon to come back here is going to be Bastiodon. Oh, I said it's called coffee backwards, but it's not spelled right. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, Bastiodon is going to completely steamroll me. I went for a Blizzard to try and get a Freeze Hack. That was my only shot here. And now Bastiodon's going to set up Stealth Rock. So they've got such a great counter here for me at the moment. So there wasn't much I could do. At least Bastiodon's health was getting, lower and lower. And it's funny, only on PIMPNITE's channel will a team get completely countered by Bastiodon. So Chien Pao was going to faint there, and things are not looking good, right? They're looking straight nasty. So we're going to go to our fourth Chien Pao now, and see if we can get back into this game, right? So we're going to take some Stealth Rock damage. Now, this was my Endure weakness policies here. So I thought I could drum up a few boosts here and see if we can get, claw our way back into this battle, or at least try to. So Bastiodon's obviously going to go for Body Press there. It's super effective against my entire team. So I've got a weakness policy now, which is going to be very helpful. And this set, I'm just going to bring it up here, was a sweeping set, but it was mixed too. So it was max speed, naive nature, and max special attack, and the last 4 in attack there. Terra Dark too. So out comes Entei. We all know what this is going to do. It's going to go for extreme speed. So it's like, bugger, that's why I didn't want to set it in first, because I knew in the team preview they had Entei, and they'd just be running a standard set there. So I went for Endure just to show them I knew what they were going to do. And there's not much I can really do here. Plus, if they've got Sacred Fire, which I'm sure they do, they can easily use that. And it's too risky to swap out to another one. So I had to let that faint. So now I'm in a desperate situation here. I've got 2 Pokemon left, and I'm 5-2 down, staring into an Entei with Fire moves and extreme speed as well. So we're going to go to the next Chien Pao. This is my bulky set. It's very terrible. So I've got Recover, and I've got Ruination, Terra Poison, and I've also got Mean Look and Icy Wind. Now the opponent is going to go for a Terra Normal here. So virtually Entei is one of the many Pokemon that is very good for Terra Normal and extreme speed, right? That was a max health and max defense Chien Pao, and I took that woefully. But I managed to get some Ruination damage off there, which is good. They were probably fairly surprised to see leftovers on Chien Pao as well, and for it to live that attack. So there's nothing I could do. Entei can just press the A button with extreme speed. So I've got one more Chien Pao left. Now, the last Chien Pao set is definitely the best set on my team. And, it's a good set. It's a good competitive set because I truly needed it, as you can see when I come across easy counters like this. So we've got to see if we can claw our way back here. So I'm 1-5 down at the moment, and I'm going to go for a Terra. Now, I actually like running Terra Ghost on Chien Pao on a more competitive set, because it is 4 times weak to fighting, and also you can get around a lot of those extreme speed users, right? In this case, it was perfect, which allowed me to get a free Sword Dance up here. So now we're rolling with Sword Dance, and we've got its ability as well. It's a fairly threatening Pokemon. So now they've realized they can't do anything with Entei. They're going to get wrecked, and Suicune swaps in. That was actually a really good play for me that they did that, because I actually got free Sacred Sword damage off against Suicune, and I can just, go for that again. Suicune is very bulky defensively, so maybe Throat Chop still would have taken it out, but I was still happy to get rid of that. Next Pokemon's gonna be, it's gonna be a Salazzle. Now, I know Salazzle's got a Focus Sash straight away, so I thought, I've got Ice-Wheel Crash, let's go for a flinch. I know that it's risky, but I have to go for it, right? There's no choice. So Salazzle's got its Focus Sash. I was crossing my fingers for a flinch. It didn't happen, and now we've got a Thunder Wave. However, I like to run Lumberry on my Chien Pao as well over something like Focus Sash, because you know, it does get status a lot, or people do attempt to try and status it, and that was perfect. So they completely wasted their turn there by trying to status me. It was a good play for sure to try and slow me down, but now it's resulted in me taking no damage whatsoever, and there's only, you know, a couple of Pokemon left. Next Pokemon is Miraidon. No way that's going to be able to live a Sacred Sword or outspeed me. I'm not sure if it was scarfed or not, but that's the end of that. Entei's left, and there's one other Pokemon there as well, which I can easily get rid of, and there's the cancel. So I came back from a 1-5 down with a huge disadvantage. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Let's get a like on the video for that clutch comeback there, and they had all the means to get around me too. So it was excellent. That's why I like that Terra Ghost and Lumberry combination, because it's helped so many times. That was just one of the many examples, right? All right, let's get on to battle number 3 here. If you're enjoying the video so far and you want to help the channel, drop that like on the video. Tell me what you think about Chien Pao. I got some really great battles today, so I hope you enjoy them. So I gave Ninetales a little taunt there. Chien Pao's a very good taunter, in my opinion, because it's very fast, and you know, against stuff like this, it's very, very handy. So Ninetales is not going to set up the Aura Veil, and now it's going to go for the Moon Blast, which, you know, it's still a very good counter because it's doing tons and tons of damage. Now, I only left the Moon Blast there because I was running a bulky set, and I can't do anything here at all. So Ninetales can virtually feint me with Moon Blast. Now, I need to keep in mind that the taunt will wear off. And that puts the opponent at an advantage then, because they can freely go for Moon Blast, while I sort of have to set up the taunt. That was a problem I was thinking of, but then I was like, wait a second, I got a good idea. So Ninetales is going to go for the Veil again, because, you know, it's an easy play for them. They won't have to work too hard once they got that up. Psychic Fangs is going to break the Veil, so I've denied their Veil twice now. They must be salty after that. So this set, it was the Iron Ball set there, and it actually took quite a few people off guard. So I'm probably like, whoa, why did I get outsped by this for? The idea was to do more damage with payback, virtually. So I went for a Terra Psychic here in hopes that Ninetales would stay in and use Moonblast, so I could get some good damage on it. Unfortunately, Lapras is going to swap in here, so I won't be doing, like, you know, too much damage. The EVs on this, we had Max Health and Max Attack, Brave Nature, and Iron Ball. Iron Ball halves your speed, and it makes you grounded as well. Not that matters too much in this case. So out comes Lochlass. I think that's I want to say that's a German name. I probably got that wrong. You know, I'm going to be reading the comments and be like, it's French. It's going to be completely opposite. So I'm getting some pretty good damage against this Lapras. It is a bulky set, for sure. But I need to properly keep this Chien Pao alive. Otherwise, that Veil might get set up again, or attempted to be set up again. So in comes Mammochon, which is Mamoswine, and I just got some free Psychic Fangs damage here. Now, the thing about this, the physical moves weren't hitting as hard due to the snow being up, right? Now, I had payback on this set, and I thought, well, I doubt they'll expect this. I doubt they'll expect to outspeed me. And the funny thing is, Mamoswine used knockoff and got rid of my Iron Ball, and payback's going to hit really hard, almost taking them out. Now, I've got Sucker Punch here, but I was like, I'm sure they're going to outspeed me with Ice Shard anyway, because my speed is, you know, garbage. This speed set is garbage. And, yeah, that's the end of Chien Pao, but it's okay. I've got my my other set here, which has Ice Shard, which isn't a slow set with Brave Nature. So this is the mix set, the Weakness Policy mix set that I showed you before, and we're just going to go for Ice Shard and finish off Mamoswine there, which is good. Now I was worried, I was like, are they going to send in Ninetales and go for the Veil again? Because I'm sure they're going to set the snow up. Or should I just straight up attack them with the Dart Pulse? I didn't have a lot of options here. But, it didn't matter. It was going to get set up regardless. So I thought, maybe I should go for Dart Pulse and try and flinch them. Then they swapped. I was like, okay, maybe they were expecting a swap there themselves. And they swapped out to keep the snow going for Titans. They're going to try and sweep me with Titan here as a Slush Thrust set. So even with Sir Titan's, average speed, it's going to outspeed my Chien-Pao. Heavy Slam is not going to faint me thanks to the boost from the snow, and that's going to activate my weakness policy, and that's very, very bad news. I even took a Life Orb Heavy Slam. That's impressive, and Sir Titan is going to faint to a Dark Pulse, so I definitely imagine they didn't, they probably expected me to go for Sacred Sword or something like that. So that's the end of Titan. We've got Ninetales coming back in here. Will they go for Moonblast or will they just attack? I feel like they're just going to attack. But Dark Pulse completely dumpsters the Ninetales. I wonder if that critical hit actually mattered there with weakness policy up. I think it would have been very, very close regardless. I'd say they definitely would have been attacking me anyway, not going for, Veil with quite a number of their team on low health. So Lapras is gone, Ninetales is gone. We've really clawed our way into this battle. Next Pokemon is going to be Frostlass, which I'm sure is a Snow Veil set there. So it's like, oh no. Or it might be Focus Sash or both, right? So go for that Dank Pulse, and it's got the Focus Sash as to be expected there. So typically with Frostlass, it can, have stuff like, Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, Destiny Bond. They went for Hex. I was like, oh no, that didn't faint me. So I can go for another attack here. I just went for Ice Shard. So if they had Hex instead of Shadow Ball, they would have had Will-O-Wisp and they had Ice Beam. So they really had nothing to hit me with there. That's why they went for Hex. Last Pokemon is Seracroll. That's a pretty cool name for Avalugg. Dark Pulse actually doesn't take it down to Sturdy, which I presume that I had there, and Chien-Pao is going to faint. I've got 3 more left here, 3 Chien-Paos left, and that's pretty much the end of the game there. My, man, that's Taunt and those Psychic Fangs really, really shut down the bulk of this team a lot, right? So I swapped in my Hyper Beam Chien-Pao and finish off the Avalugg there, and that is the end of the third battle. That was a mono ice team too, or ice type Pokemon team. Pretty cool. That was another random battle. Let's get on to battle number 4 here. I've got tons of random battles for you today. I wanted to give you guys a fat video because we haven't had one for a couple of days. So I hope you're enjoying these longer vids. All right, we've got a mega counter here being Koraidon. In fact, this team was crazy counters. So Chien-Pao's really only hope is to land a Sheer Cold on turn 1 against a Koraidon, and that did not happen. So Koraidon is going to go for the Collision Course, and that's the end of Chien-Pao. In fact, that's the end of my entire team, unless I go into my Terra Ghost one. That's really all I could think of here. I really had to go for it, so I thought if I go into that and then go for Terra Ghost and go for Sword Dance, I might be able to take out quite a few of these Pokemon. But then I thought, maybe I'll try my Endure set first with Weakness Policy. So I go for that Weakness Policy, Endure combination. Koraidon's just going to keep going for Collision Course. This Weakness Policy set was actually pretty good, like the special one. And I had Ice Shard on there as well, just as, for any priority moves or surprise, like specially defensive sets. It really was quite good. I'm not saying it's the best set, but it has some pretty good performance there. So I'm going to go for a Blizzard there. Koraidon gets rolled out like a lounge room rug, and that is a W for Chien-Pao there. That was awesome. Next Pokemon to come in is going to be Zacian. As you can see, this team was completely stacked. Zacian was a huge counter. Koraidon was a huge... There was a lot of counters to this team. Even though Chien-Pao is a very good Pokemon. So I thought, well, I'll just go for a flinch here. There's really not much I can even do. Zacian uses Slash. I'm like, what is this Herba Mystica set? So, I mean, it had the same result of fainting me. So I'm like, I don't know what to expect now. I thought they'd just go Behemoth Blade or Sacred Sword or something like that. So I've got my Chien-Pao here. This is the Iron Ball set. I was like, I'm going to see what they've got here. And it's got Sacred Sword as well. So Sacred Sword and Slash. Alright, what's the next move? Stun Seal Strike? I don't know. We've got 3 Chien-Paos there. Things are not looking good at all. Things are looking super bad. So I thought, well, I've got no options here. It's going to take my entire team out. or I go for a Blizzard Freeze. I just went for this. It's like, I don't think I'm going to win this battle anyway. And I got a Freeze. I'm like, what? I was so lucky. But there was a bit of a problem here. Zacian thawed out immediately, and then it went for Moonblast. I'm like, what is this? Does it not have Behemoth Blade? So they've used Slash, and they've used Moonblast, and they used Sacred Sword. I'm like, does this truly not have Behemoth Blade? I mean, it doesn't matter. It's still going to, easily beat me. I just found it amusing it didn't have its, most used move. So I'm down 4 Pokemon. Like, all right, I really have to. I've got no choice now. I have to go for Terra Ghost here. I really hope they don't go for Behemoth Blade on this turn because I am not living that. No way. So we got that Terra Ghost, and I had to go for Sword Dance here because there were some pretty bulky Pokemon in the back. And there were a lot of them every Pokemon on the team was a counter to this team, as you can see. So go for Sword Dance there. This is obviously a competitive set here. I'll tell you what the set is if you are interested. It's just a pretty standard set. Jolly, max speed and attack, 4 in defense, Lumberry, and then we got Sword Dance, Throat Chop, Ice Crash, and Sacred Sword. I like Throat Chop over Sucker Punch, personally. Sucker Punch is a little bit predictable, and stuff like Flutter Mane you can still do a ton of damage with, like, say, if you want to swap out Ice Crash for Ice Shard. But I don't always run priority on this one because it's so fast, and you can get around some of those threats with like Terra Ghost too. So in comes Gouging Fire, and it's going to be a Terra. And it's going to go for Outrage too. Now, Outrage does not take my Chien Pao out, and I went for a Throat Chop afterwards to finish it off there. At least their Terra had been used there. It was a neutral. It was neutral too. The Outrage, so I was able to live that. So half the team's down. Next Pokemon's Arcanine. So with Arcanine, I thought, well, you can't use Extreme Speed. I've got Throat Chop. I mean, that's going to do a lot of damage. It didn't even have Intimidate, so it must have been like Flash Fire, right? So that is the end of Arcanine. No worries. We got 2 more Pokeball left. So we got Ogerpon. Now, this was a problem because there was a Ogerpon, and then there was another one, right? So I thought, this has 30. I can't one-shot it unless I get a flinch. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to forego the boost I had from Sword Dance, allow this one to do some damage to it and see what happens. Unfortunately, that does a lot more than I hoped for my bulk. I think I overestimated my defensive Chien Pao. So it did nothing. But I managed to get a Ruination off here against the Ogerpon, right? Ogerpon had Slam. Okay, so Ogerpon had Slam on there as well. I mean, it was the same result. It's just funny seeing Slam use. So we got Chien Pao sliding back in here. Obviously now I can easily fake this, but I can't go for a Sword Dance. So I was like, well, I've got Sacred Sword. That'll finish it off, right? Maybe I could have gone for Ice Crash there, but he could have missed, and then I would have just fainted. Last Pokemon on their team is also going to be Ogerpon. So they had 2 Ogerpons on their team. Now, this one, I was like, well, I've only got a neutral move. So I went for Icicle Crash here in hopes that I could flinch or one-shot it. None of those things happened, and it's going to finish me off with Ivy Cargo. And that's the end of the battle there. So I don't think I could have won that. I think the only way I would have won that is if I got the Icicle Crash and then flinched the Ogerpon. The Cornerstone Ogerpon. That was the only way, because I needed those attack boosts to take the last one out. Unless I critted. I was hoping for a crit or a flinch, but it didn't happen. All right, let's get on to our next random opponent. This is a battle against Jake. And we have a Miraidon lead, very rare lead you obviously would never see. So Miraidon is a fairly decent counter for this team too, because it's very fast and hits really, really hard too. And it can live stuff like, Ice Shard and, Sucker Punch and things like that. So we have got a Timmy Terra on the first turn here. I was like, uh-oh, is this going to be Terra Electric? But then he used Terra Dragon. I was like, oh. Okay, that surprised me a little bit. I thought I definitely didn't expect that. So I just went for Blizzard here. Blizzard did tremendous damage, and then went for Power Gems. Like, what was the Terra Dragon for? I was trying to figure out the Terra Dragon. I don't know, but anyway, that's the end of Chien Pao. I was still happy with that result, though, because they'd used up their Terra. So bringing in my number 2, Chien Pao. That's a good line, actually. I'm going to copyright that one. I'm just going to go for Sucker Punch and finish off Miraidon there. Okay, so that's actually a fairly good result. I'm happy with that. Very, very happy. Now, what I was thinking here, we had a low kicks. Now, low kicks is actually very, very good counter for this team. And first impression is going to hit very, very hard there. And Avalanche is going to take it out. The only reason I lived that was due to me having max health. Otherwise, low kicks would have destroyed me. Next Pokemon's going to be the homie King Toilet. And this was pretty interesting. So, obviously, I can't do a damn thing here. So I thought, well, gee, what do I do? Do I just go for Sucker Punch? They might go for Sword Dance. So, how about I go for Payback? But they use Flash Cannon instead. It was a special set. So, you know, props to them for using a special set. That's the end of my Chien Pao. So I got 4 more left. Now, what I'm going to do here is try and get rid of this King Gambit. So I've got Sacred Sword on one Pokemon, but I didn't want to use it just yet, because I didn't know what those other Pokemon were going to do or what their sets were. I had to be very wary with that set, because if I lost that good set and then suddenly there was a counter, a real good counter for the rest of my team, there was mainly no way I could win, unless I got something lucky like, say, like a sheer cold KO or something like that, right? So I'm going to set the snow up here. King Gambit's going to have Stealth Rock too. That's a bit of a pain. Not that I'm running Focus Sash or anything, but still extra damage. I'm desperately trying to get a sheer cold KO against King Gambit right now. And it's going to be firing more Flash Cannons. That one actually did a bit more damage than the first one. Yeah, that did more damage. So I think they got a min and then a max roll. So suddenly half my team's down here, which isn't so good. So bringing in Chien Pao now, at this stage, I really have to try and get rid of this, because I have nothing right. So I have to go for Sacred Sword and take it out there. I probably could have done that earlier, but like I said, I had to be very wary with this set because it was sort of my backup there. Next Pokemon's going to be Wo-Chien. So Wo-Chien is going to drop my attack a little bit. It's interesting with the Ruinous abilities. Now, I wanted to see what this set was first. Is it going to be a generic bulky set? Is it going to use Giga Drain? What's it, is it Leech Seed? What's it, Ruination? What's it going to do, right? So swapping into my 5th Chien Pao, and it's going to use Giga Drain. That really didn't surprise me all that much. Now, this set has got Blizzard, and I thought, well, with the snow up, I may as well make use of that. Great damage there, really good damage, and I froze the snail. I was like, this is awesome, right? So the snail was like, it was slowly crawling along on the ground, and then suddenly it was a very cold day, and the snail just, froze there, outside of its shell. That'd be crazy. Has anyone ever seen that before? Like, anyone that lives in a really cold country, have you seen a snail frozen outside of its shell? Probably not, because they probably go inside their shell before they get frozen. But that'd be pretty cool. Next Pokemon's going to be Rillabooma, and it didn't have Grassy Surge. Like, okay, wonder what this set is. But Blizzard took it out. Like, damn, this is hitting pretty hard. So Rillabooma's gone. Last Pokemon is going to be Electivire. Now, Electivire can be quite a few different sets. It can be physical, special, mixed. It's quite a versatile Pokemon. So I went for Snarl there to get some damage and activate my Throat Spray on Chien Pao. And Electivire is going to be a physical set, stopping Tantrum. That is not going to be enough to take me out there. I mean, maybe if the snow wasn't present. So I just thought I'd end the battle with a nice, fat, juicy Hyper Beam. And that is the end of Electivire. It ran out of those Energizer batteries. I don't know, whatever batteries you guys use. That is the end of the battle there. I hope you guys are enjoying the vid so far. We had some really fun battles today. I've got 3 more. I've got 8 battles today. This is the battle against Super Bowser, and we have a 6 Chien Pao versus a 6 Chien Pao battle here. Now, with the limited move pool of Chien Pao, there was only so many movesets you could make. When you think about, like, I've got 6 and there's 6, that's 12 Pokemon to spread between the small amount of moves there. So I was kind of interested to see whether we'd have, similar sets. So Chien-Pao's got to swap into Chien-Pao. I poured a bit of ice cream on it, you know. This one's got Sacred Swords. I thought, all right, that's the one that I got to worry about. The problem is, right, when you have, like, a team that's exactly the same. Also, these can't be nicknamed either. So you don't really know what Chien-Pao's got what. Unless you see, like, you know, the life orb damage or you have something, you know, you status it or do something particular like that. You have to pay really, really close attention. Otherwise, you won't know what the moves are. So I'm going to be going for a Terra Fairy here. This is my Terra Blast set. I usually I didn't do this because it wasn't very strong, but in this case, I seen the Sacred Sword one, and I absolutely had to get rid of it, which I did, because that would just sweep my entire team, because I had one too, but you know, I didn't want to bring it out yet because I knew there was going to be some sort of defensive Terra. There might be a Focus Sash. You never know, right? So in comes the next Chien-Pao. This might be the first one. I'm not sure if this is the first one or not. I've got no idea. I got that Snarl off and I boosted my special attack. So I'm ready to get my Chien-Pao special Terra Blast sweep here. And it landed sheer cold on me. I'm like, you had one chance and you got the sheer cold off. So, you know, my salt levels were starting to rise there, right? Because I was going to go for Terra Blast and just get an easy W there. So I was like, all right, I've got to get them back with sheer cold. The problem is, right, since it's an ice type Pokemon, I can't use it on it. I'm going to have to wait for a Terra if there is one that's non-ice type. So bring in my third Chien-Pao here. This is the bulky set with Mean Look and Recover. So this one's got Ruination as well. And, you know, same as mine. So we're going to keep both going for Ruination here. Now, there was I think there was, this was a Leftovers one too. My one was Leftovers too, my bulky set here. So I figured this might go for a while because I've got Icy Wind as my other move, which, to be fair, didn't really do much damage. It was more there for any faster Pokemon, so like Choice Scarf and stuff. So dropping the Chien-Pao's speed, I thought I want to make sure I win every speed matchup here in case there's any speed ties and, you know, annoying things like that. So another Ruination, which is fine. I can easily deal with this. I definitely can. All I got to do is just do enough Ruinations to put it on a low amount of health, and then I can go for Icy Wind. You know, that's the thing. Unfortunately, Leftovers is almost healing as much as, you know, Icy Wind damage. So Sucker Punch is going to happen there, and I trap them in with Mean Look. My favorite part about Chien-Pao is its eyes. It looks cool. I like the shade of its eyes, and I like the little swords that come out its mouth too. That's probably my favorite part about Chien-Pao's design. I don't even know if I said its ability. Well, obviously we're sort of ruined. Basically, the Pokemon that don't have this ability have their defense multiplied by 0.75. So you've got that on top of, you know, it's already good attack stat, and with like moves like Sword Dance, it's a very, very good Pokemon. Now, if you do want to have a bit more of an in-depth guide on Chien-Pao too, I have done a Chien-Pao guide. I did that a couple of years back, but I'll link it below there. Now, I know a few people will ask, I have done a Chien-Pao sweep already. I think I did it week 1, so I won't be doing a Chien-Pao sweep this time because I've already done it, right? However, I've not done speaking about the rumours Pokemon, I haven't done Ting Lu sweep, which will be difficult, I think, and I haven't done a Chi-Yu sweep. So those ones will be coming, and as well as 6 versions of their team and stuff like that. Currently, the Ting Lu is going on, so if you want to get some free stuff, you can do that. And you know, I think it's like the end of the month is when it stops there. Well, at least for Ting Lu. That's not a bad one. It's like kind of like a rusty sort of look. All right, so finally I took out that Chien-Pao, but this was not good, right? So the next Pokemon is going to have Endure. So I was like, I wonder what this is. Endure. Are they obviously they're not waiting for weakness policy, so it must be some sort of, you know, berry activation or something. I don't know what sort of berry it is though. Then Chien-Pao used Sword Dance, like, this is very bad. So I went for another Ruination here, and it did it to fix amount of damage. Now, I actually think I've missed it. It's definitely a Pitch Berry because that didn't activate, so it must be like activated for one more. So I thought maybe I should go for an Icy Wind here. to drop its speed because, Sword Dance will be no joke. So I went for Icy Wind, and that missed. And the Endure, the Endure failed. Not that I would have fainted it, but the Endure failed because I didn't do anything there. So it was almost a wasted turn. So I went for Endure. Actually, if I got a crit with Icy Wind, that actually would have killed. So that Endure could have mattered if I got a crit there. So here comes the berry. I was like, I wonder what it is. And turns out it was a Salic Berry. So I'm like, that's great. So it's a Sword Dance Acrobatic Salic Berry set. Now, my bulky Chien Pao, which is pretty impressive, managed to live that. That also didn't have an item too. So acrobatics was at full base power. So I went for another Icy Wind here, and that was enough to take out the Chien Pao there. So that's half the team down. Very, very good. For some reason, this Chien Pao has lasted for forever, right? Now, the next Pokemon I know will surprise you is going to be Chien Pao. Now, I'm going to use Icy Wind again. I don't know whether I win these speed ties or anything like that. Actually, was I running max speed? I'm just going to check whether I was. Now, this was a mean set. This is a PP diminishing set, right? It would make your PP smaller. So you'd use a move and then out of nowhere, 4 PP would disappear. So it's like one of these cruel struggling sets. So I had 13 Icy Wind left. I had 12 Ruinations. So I thought it's better that I guess it's better if I use the Ruination first and then I'll try and feint this thing with Icy Wind, right? Or, if I do end up getting faint. So now it's trapped me in a mean lock. I'm like, oh no, I can't swap out. So my Chein-Pao is trapped in there. Now, I don't know whether they've got any recovery, because I know that obviously it does learn recover, and it's got leftovers as well. So I don't know if they're going to try and deliberately make me struggle here. It's like, I'm not going to put up with that. I'm going to see if I can feint this before that happens, right? That's something I would do. So here comes another Spite there. Just to spite me, and that's another 4p. That's another 4 inches gone, Then I gotta check out this this set. This was, oh no, the Icy Wind set didn't have any speed. It was max health, max defense, and bold nature. That's what that bulky set was. Not that anyone's ever going to be running a bulky Chien Pao because it's complete trash, but I just thought I'd say that anyway. So another Spite on my Chien Pao. Now things were there was some dangerous shrinkage going on here, right? Because all of my ruin, I think that was it. I think I had one more PP left on Ruination, and that was it. I was completely out of Ruination. I never thought I'd be in this situation, right? So I went for the Ruination, my final one, and it was kind of funny because Spite failed there. Spite will fail if you've used up all the PP, so that was my last one. And then Spite tried to drop the PP, but since it was already at 0, Spite failed, right? So that was pretty funny. So it's like, this clearly doesn't have recover. Otherwise, it would have used it already. So I'm going to go for Icy Wind now to try and feint this stupid thing. This went for ages. I wanted to show you guys what I had to put up with here. So another Spite here on my Chien Pao. That's another 4 PP gone. So I had to feint. I was like confident I could feint this the next turn because like a couple more turns, I would have no attacking moves at all. I would just have like, what would I have? I'd have Mean Look and Recover. So eventually I would have struggled myself there. But finally I took out the stupid Spite Chien Pao. To be fair, I was actually going to run the same set myself, but it was going to be a bit different. It was going to be like Recover, Spite, Mean Look, and some other scummy stuff like that. So out comes another Chien Pao. That was the end of the stalling set, so thank goodness. And we have got a Terror here. So I'm like, all right, what Terror is this going to be? The Terror is going to be Terror Fire, which is a good Terror against this team. So I'd have to assume this has Terror Blast. Absolutely, So Terror Blast is going to be very, very bad. And I was like, wait a second. I've got an idea. I've got a really, really, really good idea. First things first, I went for Icy Wind there just to drop the speed of it. Just in case there were any speed ties, I knew that I was going to die to the Terror Blast regardless, but I thought, how earlier on they got me good with Sheer Cold on the first go on the Terra Fairs? I'm going to see if I can return the favor and go for Sheer Cold, but I've only got one shot and one chance to do this. And the odds are stacked against me here, because if I didn't land that, I don't know whether I was going to be able to take this out. And maybe I had to use my I don't know, like Sacred Sword or something like that. So bringing in the Chien-Pao with Sheer Collar. All right, here we go. But they swapped. I'm like, no. So they swapped. They might have known what I was trying to do there. And the next Chien-Pao is going to come in. So since it's an ice type, you know, the Sheer Cold is gonna fail here. So I had to think about this for a sec. Do I want Sheer Cold for that Terrifier one? I was like, yeah, I do actually. So I swapped mine out, but then they swapped theirs out. So they knew what I was trying to do. They knew that I was trying to fake their Terrifier Chien-Pao, so they knew I'd swap mine out too. So it was a double swap turn. And I was like, okay, if I can get rid of one of those ones, then there's nowhere for them to hide. If it's like one more left, right, I can get the Sheer Cold off, hopefully, you know. So we're going back into my, well, what set is this? This is this, oh, I've got weakness policy on this one. So I'm like, all right, cool. I can go for Endure, get a weakness policy, and then go for a Dank Pulse, right? That'll do a lot of damage. It may even take them out too. So this is just going to keep using Terra Blast, which is fine. That's no worries. And I actually lived that. I was like, oh, damn it. I wasn't really sure, though. So this is a special Chien-Pao that's using Terra Blast Fire, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it is. It's a special one. So I've got Dark Pulse. Like, well, I'm just going to go for that. I should be able to clean up here. But it turns out the Chien-Pao was Choice Scarf Terra Blast. I was like, oh, my goodness. So that is the end of Chien-Pao there. So this is a huge, ginormous problem. Now, if you remember, I lived one Terra Blast. So I thought, okay, my Sheer Cold set has one chance to land this, right? Otherwise, I'm quite literally cooked here. So here comes the Terra Blast here. I'm crossing my paws at the moment that I don't get crit, and I didn't, which is good. And you wouldn't read about it. Sheer Cold landed as well on the first go. That's crazy luck, right? If you think about it, earlier on, Sheer Cold landed on the first go against the non-ice type, straight up on the fairy type, and then I landed straight up first time on the fire type. That's crazy, insane luck. Last Pokemon is Chien-Pao. I know this takes you by surprise, and I'm ready to go. I'm like, all right, well, I could just sack this off, you know. I go for Torn or something like that. I don't want to go for Snowscape because that won't benefit me, and it's got Brick Break. That's bad as well because that will take out my last Pokemon. Now, my last Pokemon, as you know, is the Lumberry set with, you know, the more competitive set. So I thought, all right, I'll go for Sacred Fire. Sorry, Sacred Fire. Sacred Sword. I'm going to get roasted for that. And let's get this W right. I'm good to go. Now, you know what? You know what happened? It turned out the other Chien-Pao was also Choice Scarf. And I got out and sped. So there was two Choice Scarf Pokemon. What the heck? And that's the end of the battle there. That was just a salt fit. That battle never happened, all right? All right, let's get on to the next battle. This is another random one. This is against Caius. I don't know how to say it. It's got them two little dots above the eye. This is actually a pretty funny battle. So our first Pokemon here is going to be Ursaluna Blood Moon, or Ursa King. I actually quite like the name of that. Now, I went for a Sheer Cold, which is it's going to be pretty useful, and Moonblast hits me hard, but I actually managed to live it, thanks to the EVs I gave in health. I gave it max health. Sheer Cold landed on the second go, which is great. I mean, to be fair, if I went for a normal ice move there, that would have taken it out already. So they were lucky I was running Sheer Cold. They got some free damage. Next Pokemon is going to be Super Dolphin, and that's, well, that's quite a good opportunity to go for Sheer Cold too, or maybe a Torn to recover. I figured they'd go for Flip Turf. So I just went for Sheer Cold. In comes Regieleki. I went for Recover here. So I thought, maybe I can get Recover off, live the flip turn, and then try and get the Snowscape and, you know, start this again run. So Regieleki's going to outspeed, obviously, and use Ancient Power. That doesn't fate me. It probably did a little bit less than what they, what they'd hoped there. So the only bad thing is if Regieleki gets an Ancient Power boost, it's not going to be good because it's going to be hitting really, really hard too. And I'm sure it's got, you know, some sort of electric move on it, too. So Chien-Pao's going to fake to an Ancient Power there. Absolutely nothing I could do at all there. I thought, well, we'll give this shot a try. Maybe this is going to work. So we've got that Swords of Ruin going for us, which is going to help so much. And Ancient Power again. So I thought maybe I'll just go for a Blizzard. I'll get Weakness Policy because I know that it can't one-shot me. I'll take advantage of that and I'll get this Blizzard going here. This special set was actually really, really good against this team. It worked great. So Blizzard's going to land, Regieleki completely and utterly destroyed there. So really nice getting rid of that. Now, I had some other options. I had Dark and Dark Pulse. So in comes the Espeon. They're on an espionage mission. Unfortunately for them, I'm awake to those sort of things, and it's going to be mission fail. So that is going to be the end of the Espeon there. That's good. That probably had like Dazzling Gleam or something like that. So things are looking pretty good now. Next Pokemon's going to be called I Love Tea, and that is a definitely not a Shell Smash Poltergeist, right? So I'm going to go for Dark Pulse here. Obviously, they're going to go for Shell Smash this turn with the Focus Sash. So they probably think they're in quite a good position here. They're thinking I'm running a fully special set. So they're going to try and reverse sweep me. I'd say they've probably got something like, you know, Shadow Ball. Stored Power's not going to be useful here. Probably Giga Drain. That's probably what they got. It's a big threat. However, I like to run Ice Shard on this too, just in case that sort of thing happens. And that's the end of the teapot there, or the tea spilt everywhere. The next Pokemon's going to be the Palafin here. I'm ready to go and feint this. I'm sweeping with this special set very nicely, and there's the Salty Cancel. So there you go, guys. A beautiful example of how well the special Chien Pao went there. Very, very nice. Let's get on to the... Actually, I've got, the 8th and final battle today. Hope you guys are enjoying. Are you still watching? Are you still enjoying? I really hope you are. Love to give you guys some good content. We got a Rotom Wash here. So I thought I'd go for Taunt because I smell a rat. Because I reckon they're either going to have a Thunder Wave or Trick or Volt Switch. And I was right. They went for Trick there. So that was good. So now I've got Snowscape and Sheer Cold. I thought, you know what? We'll go for Sheer Cold. Sheer Cold missed, which is a bit of a shame. But, you know, it's a low accuracy move. Not much to expect there. Volt Switch is going to do heavy damage. So straight away, I'm pretty sure that is running something like Choice. I say Choice Specs, what they're running. Next Pokemon, Scarlet. This is a fat counter to my team. Sheer Cold lands right when I needed it. That was important because I didn't have much for that outside of what Throat Chop and Snarl and stuff like that. So yeah, that definitely would have taken a few Pokemon out by itself. In comes the Rotom Wash again. I was like, well, I'm just going to go for Sheer Cold. I've got absolutely nothing to lose here. And it landed. And the washing machine's going to get frozen up. The pipes are going to get frozen up in the winter, you know. And that's 2 down there. I was like, this is excellent. This is pure quality content. Next Pokemon's going to be Snorlax. So I thought it had some pretty good luck so far, so I thought I'll go for Taunt first on this Snorlax. It might go for like Belly Drum or something annoying like that, and then reverse sweep me. They're going to go for Earthquake instead on my Chien Pao. It's not going to feint me though. So look, I could have gone for Recover here, but I thought, nah, I'll set the Snow up. I've been pretty lucky already with those Sheer Colds. It's given me a very, very good start. I'm sure I can handle a Snorlax, right? I probably should have gone for Sheer Cold there because I regretted letting that feint me as easily as what I did there. I mean, it still might have feinted me, but I would have liked to have tried out all my Sheer Colds. Anyway, so we're bringing in Chien Pao now. I'm going to get this special set rolling. Now, this Snorlax most probably definitely has Thick Fat, which is going to power down any of those ice moves, which is a bit of a bummer for my most powerful move, Blizzard. Not saying it won't do much damage, but it's not going to be doing like one-hit KOs and stuff like that. So Snorlax is going to shake off the Taunt there if it had a status move, and Blizzard is going to do nothing. I was actually trying to go for a Freeze Hacks here. So Snorlax is going to continually body slam me, and I finally get it down to a low amount of health, and it's got a berry. So I kind of figured it had a berry. Most Snorlax do. Snorlax has got a Figgy Berry. Now, Snorlax is easily living my moves here, and then it paralyzed me, which is a bit of a bummer. I can still outspeed it, don't get me wrong, but that could be a problem later on. So Snorlax is now going to use Recycle, and this is a big problem because it's recycling the Figgy Berry, and it's getting its health back. And I'm limited to if I can attack each turn with Paralysis, And is the snow gonna, like, the snow is gonna stop soon. So I've got quite a few things again. All they really have to do is keep recycling this berry over and over again. So this is why I was like, man, I should have just gone for sheer cold. I actually felt a bit sorry for them after I took out the 2 Pokemon. I thought they'll, if I took Snorlax out with sheer cold, I kind of thought they might just rage quit or something like that. So I wanted to see if I could do it without it. But now, the trolling has sort of backfired. Now, this wasn't the only stall Pokemon they had, too. They had another one in the back, which is, a lot less gimmicky than this Snorlax. At least they had Recycle, which is, somewhat interesting. So I had very little options. It's like, I'm just going to let them faint me. I'm just going to keep using Blizzard till I faint. Or I get a freeze, maybe. But they were just going to keep using Recover till the snow ran out, and then hope that my Blizzard would miss, or I just ran out of Blizzard, because Blizzard only had 8 PP at most, and I'd been unloading for a full 5 turns straight, So we're down to the last 2 Blizzards there. I actually got another one off, which is really cool, and Snorlax is going to go for Recycle there. So I feel like they're just going to keep using Recycle until I miss Blizzard. That's what or go for a different move, like a Snarl or whatever like that. That's what I was thinking. So Blizzard is going to miss this turn, and Snorlax is going to use Recycle again. So now they've got a chance here to actually faint me, because they've got, what they want to do is they want to retain their berry and not be on a low amount of health. That's what they're trying to do too. So I get paralyzed there, and Chien Pao is down. So I'm thinking here, well, I've got my Sacred Sword Chien Pao, which is good, but if I fail to take the Snorlax out, I might get body slammed and paralyzed. That would be bad. But then again, I've got my Lumberry, so maybe I could try go for Terra Ghost here, setting the Sword Dance up, and then getting rid of this pain in the ass Snorlax. But basically, so we got that Terra Ghost. Now Snorlax has really only used Earthquake and Body Slam, right? So I wasn't really scared of any other moves that it could do. Not like it had Crunch or anything like that. So Body Slam is gonna do nothing as expected, and that's gonna go down to a Sacred Sword. The thing about Sacred Sword, it ignores all those drops and defense buffs. Not that it did in this case. It's just a really good move to have as a coverage move. Out comes Gliska the Teeny. Now, I can easily take this out, but I thought I'm probably going to miss here. So I just went for Throat Chop. I did good damage, but Gliska is going to get toxic. I should have just gone for Icicle Crash. I don't know, so many battles I have, are 4 times weak to Ice Pokemon will come out. I'll go for the Ice move and it'll completely miss. And then they'll get, the KO or the status and stuff like that. So I had Lumberry, so I wasn't really, too worried about that. But I was like, I bet you they're going to try and use Protect, or they're going to go for double or triple Protect in a row. What if I miss Icicle Crash this time, So I just went for Throat Chop there because it's 100% accurate. And they're going to get some more poison heals up here. Now they're going to withdraw. So I know what they're going to try and do. They're going to try and get more of their health back and then go for Protect again. They're stalling as much as possible. The problem is swapping an Empoleon into a Sword Dance is... That just got sacked. That just got completely sacked. So bye-bye Empoleon. Bringing in the Dragon. Oh, it's a shiny Dragon. We have to get rid of this. Here comes the Timmy Terra. Originally I thought they might go for Terra with their Gliska as well. That's why I was a little bit wary of using Icicle Crash. So we got Terra Normal Dragonite, which is not really going to help them very much with extreme speed. I went for Icicle Crash, good damage there, and Dragonite has Scale Shot. So Scale Shot is going to be a problem because that's going to increase Dragonite's speed. They got a critical hit on that one, and that's 4 hits. So I'd say it's just loaded dice, loaded dice, extreme speed, Scale Shot, right? So they got a speed rise. I went for Sacred Sword, and I outsped them. So Dragonite clearly was running at a bulky Adamant set, I would say. Chein-Pao's very, very fast with Jolly, so even can outspeed after, +1 and stuff. Last Pokemon is going to be Gliska the Teeny. I'm set up to get rid of it, but I thought, gee, if I miss, I'm done, right? Would it be better to swap into another Chien Pao here? Why they go for the obvious Protect on this turn? So I thought, all right, I'll do it the next turn, or they may keep going for Protect here. So let's wait for a Throat Chop, and, you know, that is not going to take out the Gliscor. At this stage, Gliscor is going to be... I think Gliscor's going to be able to live her. I think Gliscor's going to be able to live that. So I figure they may try another Protect here, and then I just swap. Maybe I should have just stayed in there and finished them off. It didn't really matter because I had a Chien Pao with Blizzard anyway, and, you know, one Blizzard would one-shot the Gliscor. So they end up going for Earthquake instead of Protect. So I thought they may go... As their last Pokemon, he wasn't... You know, so far-fetched for them to go for another Protect there. So they got about 3/4 health here. I've got Dark Pulse. I went for Dark Pulse instead of Blizzard because I thought they may go for Protect this time, but they just ended up going for Toxic the first time. So I'm like, all right, fair enough. Not that it matters, because I've got a lot of Chien Paos left, and I've got a lot of Ice moves, and they've used up their Terror already, right? So I wasn't too concerned about that. It was only really a matter of time. So now Glissor's going to go for another Protect, which is, you know, surprises no one. I knew they were going to do that. That's why I went for Dark Pulse instead. So, all right, I don't have any Snow Up. I'm just going to go for Blizzard here, because this is going to probably faint my Chien Pao if this, you know, toxic damage keeps going on and on. So, more toxic heal for the Glissor. They went for a double Protect that time. I knew they'd try that at least once, and Blizzard lands. And that's going to be the end of the Gliscor. Took me a little bit longer than I should have to feint it, but same result in the end. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like there. Tell me what you think about Chein-Pao, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.